In the beginning, there was only brilliance. That is how the world remembered the lover's diamond, a stone so luminously clear that jewelers swore you could see your own heartbeat reflected within it. Carved centuries ago in the Mughal courts, smuggled across 3 continents, seas and wars and courted in peace, the lover's diamond had always been a symbol of something larger than wealth, love, power, obsession, war. Every age gave a new meaning. But in 2005, when the world believed that centuries of turbulence had finally been tamed and the ancient stone rested safely in the internationally renowned Aurelia Vault, the most extraordinary chapter of its history began. Not with an explosion, not with shattered glass, not with alarms, but with silence. A silence that would haunt investigators for decades, and a disappearance that would become the most intricate unsolved jewel heist in modern history. On the morning of June 14, 2005, Vault Director Marcus Ellingson unlocked the reinforced titanium door to prepare for the museum's special exhibition, Treasures of the Old World. The lover's diamond was to be its crown jewel, the piece they advertised on every poster and billboard. The expected turnout was massive. The spotlight was blinding. But when Ellingson stepped inside, he froze. The pedestal was empty. The air felt unsettlingly still, as though someone had slipped through the room moments before. But the dust patterns on the floor were undisturbed. The laser grid was intact. The vault door had never been breached. The internal cameras showed no feed interruptions. The pressure sensors had not triggered. It was impossible. But the lover's diamond was gone. The world erupted overnight. Major news networks broke into regular programming. Interpol mobilized. Airports implemented special gemstone trafficking alerts. Entire black market forums were raided, yet no trace of the diamond appeared. No ransom note, no insider confession, no forensic evidence. Only a void. That void became a wound, one that investigators such as Inspector Luis Oren, a sharp-minded forensic analyst with psychological bent, would spend nearly 2 decades trying to fill. In her words, the lover's diamond didn't just disappear. It was removed with intention, precision, intimate knowledge. She wasn't merely interested in how it was done. She wanted to know why, and who loved the diamond enough or hated the world enough to take it. The Aurelia Vault had long been considered one of the safest structures in Europe. Its security measures were legendary. Biometric access, temperature-controlled laser grids, seismic floor plates, rotating passcodes, internal motion detectors, and even random audits by third-party specialists. Every employee underwent vetting so intense that, as one guard put it, it was easier to marry into the royal family than to get a job here. Yet the diamond vanished in the only 10-minute window during which the vault had no personnel present. A coincidence? Not according to Wren. She pored over every second of the footage, analyzing shadows, reflections, airflow shifts, and even microscopic dust movements. She spent sleepless nights replaying the same humdrum hallway scene. An empty corridor, a locked vault door, nothing happening. But the nothingness felt wrong. Too clean, too perfect, too curated. Footage, she argued, could be altered. Data could be spoofed. Sensors could be looped. And love, or obsession, could drive even the most brilliant mind to madness. At the center of Wren's ongoing investigation was one particularly puzzling detail. On the pedestal where the diamond once sat, there was no disturbance to the pressure plate, meaning the diamond had been lifted without triggering the alarm. The only way this could have happened was if the weight of the object was replaced simultaneously and precisely with an item of nearly identical mass. Yet nothing of equivalent weight was found in the vault, not even a residue, not even a fiber, not even a smudge. The pedestal was pristine, as if the diamond was never there, as if it had simply evaporated. The psychological profiles of the staff were combed through for months, looking for anomalies. Marcus Ellingson, the vault director, was scrutinized to the point of near psychological collapse. His marriage suffered. His finances were audited. His history was dissected. But he had no reason to steal the diamond. If anything, he had more to lose than anyone else. However, there was one variable Wren kept returning to, Ellingson's old love affair, kept secret from the Board of Trustees. Her name was Sabine Marichal, a French historian, brilliant and outspoken, known for her controversial theories about the diamond's true origins. Sabine had publicly argued that the lover's diamond was never meant to be displayed or traded. She believed that a tragic curse followed the gem, one tied to the death of two lovers centuries earlier. According to her research, the diamond was a dowry piece for a forbidden romance between a Mughal princess and a soldier beneath her rank. The story ended in heartbreak and bloodshed. Legend claimed that their spirits remained bound to the stone. Sabine's writings were dismissed as over-romanticized nonsense. But Sabine wasn't merely fascinated. She was consumed. She spent a decade publishing papers, trying to prove that the diamond was meant to be returned to the lover's resting place, a location yet undiscovered but believed to be somewhere in the mountainous remnants of a Mughal outpost. And Sabine disappeared from public life only 1 week before the diamond vanished. To Wren, this wasn't coincidence. This was a thread, a dangerous one. But Sabine was only one layer of the story. There were others. A series of strange reports surfaced months after the heist. A fisherman in the Mediterranean claimed he saw an unmarked submarine near the Italian coast on the night of the disappearance. A security guard stationed miles away reported seeing a flicker of blue light in the museum surveillance room that didn't look like any system alert he'd ever seen. A janitor swore he saw a woman in a red coat entering the restricted wing after closing hours, but the cameras recorded no such figure. A courier company in Belgium reported that someone tried using Ellingson's identity to pick up a package, only to flee when questioned. Each clue contradicted the next. Each lead dissolved into smoke. It was as though the conspiracy was not one plot, but an intersection of many, a spiderweb of motives, a tangle of half-truths, a puzzle too large for any one person to solve. Unless, of course, the heist wasn't the work of many, but of two. Years passed. The world gradually forgot, moving on to newer scandals and fresher mysteries. But Wren didn't. Her obsession grew. Her marriage faltered. Her superiors urged her to drop the case. Budgets were cut. Teams were reassigned. Still, she persisted. This was no longer just about a stolen diamond. It was about truth, obsession, and a haunting question that clawed at her. What are people willing to sacrifice for love? In 2012, a breakthrough emerged from an unexpected source. A hacker who used the alias Moth, arrested during a raid on an underground cyber forum. Moth offered a deal, information about the lover's diamond case, in exchange for immunity on lesser charges. Authorities refused. But Wren didn't. One illicit meeting later, Moth handed her an encrypted file containing fragments of security logs patched together from the vault's internal servers. Logs that had been wiped clean during the initial investigation. Within those fragments was a single anomaly. During the 10-minute window of the heist, the vault's climate control system spiked by 2 degrees. This should be impossible. Climate controls were sealed behind physical hardware. They had no external access. Unless someone physically tampered with them. Unless someone was inside the vault. Unless someone used temperature manipulation to mask thermal signatures or to interfere with sensor calibration. Moth offered one final chilling comment before vanishing back into anonymity. Whoever took that diamond wasn't stealing it. They were retrieving it. The phrase haunted Wren. Retrieving, not stealing. Someone believed the diamond didn't belong to the world, but belonged to them. In 2016, a woman living near the foothills of the Hindu Kush reported finding a peculiar artifact washed down from the mountains after a landslide. A shard of carefully carved crystal, impossibly clear. Geologists examined it and declared it unlike any natural formation in the region. When word reached Wren, she flew to the site. Her heart nearly stopped when she saw it. It was unmistakably a fragment of the lover's diamond setting, carved in the same imperial style, matching the patterns documented in Mughal-era sketches. But the diamond itself was nowhere to be found. As Wren trekked deeper into the mountain villages, she uncovered a local legend recently revived by elders. Whispers of 2 lovers, a princess, a soldier, a hidden resting place, and a jewel said to carry the last tear of a broken heart. The locals spoke of a woman who had come to the region years earlier asking questions. The description matched Sabine Marichal, and she was not alone. She traveled with a man a man matching the appearance of Marcus Ellingson, the vault director, the man whose life fell apart after the heist, the man who vanished 5 years after the diamond disappeared, a man who had nothing left to lose. Wren knew then. The story was deeper than any police report would ever capture. A love story? A conspiracy? A mutual descent into obsession? Maybe all three. She followed their trail into mountains, remote villages, overgrown temples, abandoned fort ruins. She found carvings depicting tragic lovers, ancient murals illustrating forbidden romance, inscriptions about separation, sacrifice, and reunion. Everything pointed toward one conclusion. Sabine and Marcus believed themselves to be the spiritual heirs, or reincarnations, of the lovers connected to the diamond. They believed returning the diamond was the only way to break the cycle. To them, this wasn't theft. It was destiny. But destiny leaves footprints. Near an old fortress ruin, Wren discovered a small, hand-carved wooden box. Inside, beneath layers of cloth, she found a faded photograph. Sabine and Marcus standing together at an archaeological dig, smiling. On the back was a note in Sabine's handwriting. If love survives death, why shouldn't it survive the world? Wren felt her breath catch. This wasn't a heist. This was a love story twisted into myth and madness. A story of two people so consumed by belief by each other that they dismantled an entire global security apparatus just to fulfill an ancient legend. But where were they now? Dead? Hiding? Fulfilled? Or guarding the diamond somewhere the world would never find? By 2019, the official investigation was closed. Public interest waned. Funding dried up. New mysteries took the spotlight. But Wren couldn't let go. She kept digging, kept traveling, kept following legends and whispers. People called her obsessed. Maybe she was. But she understood something most didn't. Mysteries don't linger because they are unsolved. They linger because they are unfinished. In 2022, deep within a remote mountain cave, she found the final piece of the puzzle, a small stone chamber hidden behind a collapsed wall. Inside was a simple stone platform covered in ancient linen. Resting at its center, not the diamond, but a journal. Marcus Ellingson's handwriting filled every page. Sketches, coordinates, theories, emotional confessions. The final entries explained everything. He and Sabine believed they had found the resting place of the ancient lovers. They believed the diamond had to be returned, not to the world, but to the earth. They had buried it somewhere the living could not follow, somewhere only the dead belonged. The last line chilled Wren to the core. We have given the lovers their peace. Now we seek our own. Neither Sabine nor Marcus was ever seen again. The cave contained no bodies, just the journal, and a cold wind that felt unbearably lonely. Wren left the mountains with more questions than answers. Did Sabine and Marcus truly find a resting place? Did they bury the diamond? Did they die afterward? Did they simply hide from the world? Or had their obsession run deeper than anyone could have predicted? The diamond was never recovered. The lover's tomb was never discovered. And Sabine and Marcus became phantoms, two modern souls swallowed by an ancient legend. Today, nearly 2 decades later, the lover's diamond conspiracy still haunts historians, investigators, and armchair detectives worldwide. Theories persist. They returned the diamond to an ancient tomb. They destroyed it. They faked their deaths. They sold it on the black market. They were manipulated by a cult. They were part of a secret society. They were delusional. They were enlightened. Everyone has a theory. No one has the truth, except, perhaps, the mountains. And maybe some mysteries are meant to remain where love and death intertwine, where stories become legends, where legends become warnings, and where the brilliance of a single diamond illuminates not answers, but the shadows we fear to explore. And so the haunting question remains. If you had the chance to rewrite the fate of a love older than time itself, would you steal the world's brightest diamond to do it? Subscribe for more thrilling stories.